It's the morning show with EVH. I'm Eric Von Hessler, and I am not alone. I'm joined, of course, inexplicably wearing the same clothes she was yesterday.
What?
Autumn Fisher is right
Hello.
here. And next to her, who's that big guy with the beard, you're asking yourself? Well, I'll tell you, that's Michael Albanese.
And we all slept here last night and didn't have a change of clothes. We decided no slumber party.
I told you, bring a change of clothes. Nobody listens to me.
I'm an idiot.
I, however, have a different shirt on. Greg's unbuttoning his shirt for a little bit of a different look.
Yeah,
I think.
no one will know.
There you go. There he is.
That's a cool undershirt. It has stripes on it. I thought it was just regular undershirt.
Why does your Greg Russ is who I'm talking about over there? Why does your undershirt have stripies?
I didn't design it.
Permanent wrinkles. I like it.
But I mean,
Is
What is it?
inside
What
out?
brand? Is it Old Navy or Hanes?
Let's take a look.
It looks
it's
inside
old
out.
Haney's.
It's inside out.
Oh, that's why those
Turn around.
fridges look so.
Turn around.
Oh, it is inside out.
Take it off.
Moron.
Comfort soft.
Why is that on purpose? Is that a cool thing, or did you
It's
accidentally
an
put it-
undershirt, so you don't care. No, what really happened was this morning, yesterday morning. I mean, this morning because the show's live. Anyway, I woke up
One of these mornings.
and there was blood on my shirt around the neck collar.
Oh.
And so I didn't even think about where it came from. I just switched shirts pretty quickly.
Do you have any idea where the blood came from?
No, I have no clue.
I started bleeding when I was at South by Southwest in the middle of a bar. It wouldn't stop. It was like going on. It was gushing out of my hand.
Weird. Why were you bleeding?
There was I didn't even notice that I cut myself. There's a wood railing around the stage, and I leaned against it to talk to somebody, and just got him. You can see a little bit of the. I think
Oh, the scratch right here?
it,
Yeah, I see it.
it was all the way down here with blood like crazy.
It was so crazy.
There's certain points in your life when you're bleeding, you just don't question it. Like,
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever.
I'm wrapped up with what's going on.
So what did you assume? What did you assume happened? Was it
Someone cut your neck in the night.
What's going on with you and this new lover of yours? Is this getting physical?
No,
Is it-
I spent the night alone. Maybe I scratched myself in my sleep. Maybe a
you-
spider bit me.
You haven't shaved in a couple of days, so it wasn't that.
Oh, I did shave. I shaved
was
Sunday.
that?
I should give you the before picture. I cut my hair too, myself, in a hotel room in Washington, D.C. I went to the CVS, bought some office scissors, and
Yeah.
just cut my hair.
Why were you in Washington, D.C.? Because you sent
For
me
work. I
you
was there
sent
for
me
work.
Lincoln. You went to see the Lincoln Memorial, which is the first time you've been there since you were a kid who was trying to break his own nose on a school bus. So
It
many
wasn't a
years
school
ago.
bus. It was a chartered coach. I'll have you know.
We told that story before.
Let's class it up a bit.
Yes.
Me breaking my own nose
You-
because someone told me I had a Jewish nose.
Yes.
At least it wasn't done on a school bus.
Right, it was on a Bluebird.
And we-
Of some,
Sure.
some kind.
we can go with that.
So you had time on this shoot to go over and see some of the monuments.
Yeah, the shoot was done Friday, and I was there till Sunday.
And you haven't been to D.C. in that kind of capacity, like to
Not
where you
to-
had time
not-
to hang since you were in 8th grade or whatever.
No, that was the first time. So I went to see Lincoln. I was moved by it, emotional.
Yeah?
I teared up.
Did you?
I thought about the ridicule he would have to face if he were still alive and people were assuming he was a gay man.
Yeah. And also not a very good-looking person. I don't know that he
No.
could be
But the
elected.
thing
In
with-
this television age, I don't think he could be elected
The
president.
thing with Lincoln, the smear campaign, I know it was going on too, but after the fact, the depression comes out. He had real battles with depression, and
Yeah.
he may have been gay.
Yeah.
And I think this was. I don't
Well,
know.
he slept with his secretary, John Hayes, like every night for years.
But where did this come from? Because I don't know if people were actually trying to smear him, but if anything, it just humanized him. So it's like, yeah, that guy,
Yeah.
he was real.
Yeah.
He was a real
Well,
man.
look, Mary Todd she got really real. By the time he got to the White House, she was crazy.
Right.
And people make a lot of fun of the fact that she wasn't that good looking when she was the first lady. But it turns out, if you go back in time, she was a catch. She was part of the Kentucky socialite thing,
Oh.
and people thought that she was slumming to be with this lanky, ugly lawyer. It was very different. She was considered a good-looking woman in her day. By the time they got to the White House, she was rumpled and old. Then they get there, like his kids are dying left and right. The freaking country's rebelling against a war. So. He was a good dude. He's not a good-looking dude. He used to have a joke, when he was I don't know how often he used it, but he was debating somebody once, and the person said that he was two-faced. And he said, "Really, sir, if I had two faces, do you think I'd choose this one to show publicly?" That's pretty good.
I want to have a beer with that guy.
He laid it down. So you enjoyed the monument? Is that the only one you saw? Did you go to the?
Well, I walked
Are you
along-
racist? Did you avoid the MLK one, the new one?
Are you racist?
I didn't know it
He's
existed.
white. I think
so
that
if you, want
was
to
real.
if you want to call me racist, I didn't even know it
It's
existed.
brand new. You haven't seen it?
No.
Pull it up. He's white. Nobody has brought
Yeah,
this up.
people are upset about it. I
Are
think.
they? Because I
Yeah.
didn't see much about that, but it was done in ivory,
Right.
and he's white.
I walk along the National Mall. I'll look it up.
All right.
But the Smithsonian, the fact that they're all free is great. Because in New York, the museums are free, but there's a suggested donation. Whenever you can give, or
What's wrong with
the
that?
suggested's like $25-$30, but whatever you can give. But if you give less than suggested, they look at you like you're a piece of shit. I'll tell you what's wrong with it. A museum like the Met has so much public funding coming in. They raise so much money.
It's
They don't
overfunded.
need these donations. But they will look at you as if you are the biggest asshole they've ever seen if you give them $5.
Because you're stealing.
You're not stealing. It says it's free admission, but there's suggested donation.
You're spoiled as well. And that's a big building, the Met. And it's chock full of amazing things. I'm sure it costs money to keep that up.
They have the money to keep it up. They don't need this extra
That's
money.
true. They don't need the
Koch
extra
brothers
money.
help out a lot, but I mean, you know.
You have to read the fine print too, or someone has to tell you that you don't have to pay when you go
Right.
in. It's like, oh my god, $30. Oh, it's so
It's
expensive.
suggested.
Well, here's how the
$30.
Natural History Museum.
Give them 1 penny and see what they do.
Yeah, we gave them $5 each.
When you went to the Natural History
We went to
Museum,
the Natural
right?
History Museum.
Now, what they do there is if you want to go in, yes, suggested donation, but give whatever you can. Unless you want to go like see a show in the planetarium, then it's like full admission plus the admission on top of that. It's like $55.
Yeah,
you want
it
to go
is
see one
expensive.
show that lasts 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it's
but you
great.
seen Neil deGrasse Tyson?
It's great.
We saw Neil deGrasse Tyson's office. We had an inn.
He's too busy to be at the museum these days because he's a big
That's
TV
right.
star.
He's a big TV guy.
I went to the American History Museum last time I was in D.C. I was performing there a couple weeks ago, month ago.
How did they cover that whole
Who knows?
slavery thing?
Whatever it was.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't bother to go into that part. No, I'm just kidding. Skipped it. I'm not going in there.
Hey.
And they had they tried to sell me a map. I was like, hey, do you guys have a map? They're like, well, we suggest a couple $1 donation. I was like, ooh, I don't have any cash. She was like, well, just take it and come back
Aw.
if you can.
Well,
And I
You
didn't
have no cash. You're in.
I had
Washington,
$100
DC.
bill,
Okay.
and she couldn't
Okay.
break it, and I surely wasn't giving her that because it was the only one I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was
And,
precious to you.
I didn't have the money still when I left, but I did give her the map back. I
Oh
was a
really?
decent human
Oh,
being.
Oh, so I could have come up and paid $5 and gotten a used map with your greasy finger stains all
Hey.
over it. Well, I'm assuming you ate something.
No,
While
not
you're
in there. Not there.
Did you eat Native American foods?
No, you
There's
know,
a whole
I
exhibit
had,
on food. Did you
oh.
go into that hall? Food?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did. It was
that was a
amazing.
good one.
That was the first one
You
I
thought
walked
there was a
into.
snack bar in there. Oh,
I actually did. There was a. They had the flag, Betsy Ross's flag. That was amazing.
the one she sewed?
Yes.
No
Wow.
shit.
Yeah, it was pretty
That
incredible.
would
is
blow
it just
me
like
away.
a little piece of it left?
No, it's huge.
Really?
It's huge.
They have the outfit that George Washington would wear for his portraits. His actual clothes. Like,
Really?
He was in those,
That's
farting in
awesome.
those. I always resort to that because it humanizes the person. He's farting in there as he's posing.
He was pulling him
Of course.
down to go to the bathroom, pulling him back up.
You gotta read the plaques though, because a lot of them are reproductions.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are like the actual,
actual
which
things.
is good. I like it that they do that because some of them are like different and some of them have
They're-
things.
they're
I
good.
actually made. I built they used to tour the flag that Lincoln. The flag that was over Lincoln's coffin,
Right.
and they used to tour that to different museums. And I actually was the salesman who sold and designed the case in which it was displayed
Really?
on tour. Yeah,
That's a little piece
previous
of
life of mine.
information
Yeah, another.
that we didn't know.
That's
you're
right.
you're a Lincoln Flag tour
I had a
manager.
gig. Yeah,
some
basically.
kind.
Yeah, basically. Why not? Yeah, let's go with that.
You routed the flag.
Exactly.
You want to make sure that all the museums are in a row and you're not flying uselessly around the country. It's important to manage those flags properly. You know, one time I went to the Met. One time, this was in the early '90s. And I never got out of the first room. I'm sure I told this story before. I never got out of the first room because I walked in, and I don't know if it's always there, but the time that I was there, the first thing you saw when you walked in was like that pottery that was made 6,000 years ago. And I couldn't get. I was just floored. You know, the idea that some human's hands actually was sitting making this thing 6,000 years ago. I couldn't get over it. I never got out of that room. I was there for like 4 hours, and then they started shutting the place down. And so I didn't see any of the great
You missed
art.
all the Jesus paintings.
Well, all the great paintings are religious, right? From the Renaissance.
Yeah, from that period.
Yeah. Because that's how, like, they were starting to get a little bit more open-minded, but the way that they could do it is they just threw Jesus in everything, and then people couldn't get mad at them, you know. They
Throw Jesus in there.
Just throw Jesus in, and then you can be as modern as you want to be. But you gotta tip the guy at the door. And then you can, then
You
you
could
can
get
go on with
Mary
your
in
own
there.
modern
If there was
thought.
no Jesus, but Mary was in it, that was okay too.
Yeah, Mary was very popular.
It depends though, right? Because people don't think that she should be honored, right? Like
Right, 'cause-
Catholics worship Mary.
Yes, and others don't.
And others
No,
don't
and
because
to the Catholics, because I grew up Catholic, to the Catholics, Mary is a saint. What's a female saint? Whatever.
Whore.
A saintess. Oh, thank you, Michael. That won't come back to
Woo!
bite us in the ass.
Oh, 'cause that's what's gonna push them over the
He
edge.
called the mother of the Son of God.
yeah, I don't.
Like, let's be honest. That seems like a really valid excuse for I cheated on my husband. I'm just throwing it out there.
I know.
I'm the first one to ever say that too.
Yes. Many people think that Joseph was a little gullible. Perhaps. All right.
Is she an
says
angel?
She is a saint. I mean, she's a saint. Are saints female saints
I
just
don't
called
know.
saints?
I think that they might just be women can be saints.
I think so. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, the Catholic Church, unlike other churches, they kind of worked in, like the Indians, the India Indians, not the Native Americans.
Different gods.
They had all these different gods, right? The
Right.
poly whatever.
Oh yeah, like if you wanna have your pet blessed, then you have
Right.
to worship saints,
Right.
whoever.
So Catholics had
Yeah,
one
yeah.
God, but they made it so that you could still have these other things that they're this saint for this, the saint of travel, the
Pray
saint
to Saint
of
Paul,
right, that sort of
for
thing.
things.
So, and I think that Mary is one of those. However, that lays down. It was a long time ago. I was in catechism. I was like 12.
We used to. My mom used to say a prayer to Saint Christopher right before we'd go on a long road trip.
Because he's
'Cause it's-
travel.
No, traffic. I think it was
Traffic. Oh, another guy's travel.
Traffic mercy.
Yeah, he's the traffic.
Now, with
all the sexes with Saint Christopher. That'd be my name. Oh my God.
That'd be great.
If I was ever to have
Well,
a
if
real
you're on the
radio
radio,
job,
they have, like-
I'm gonna be Saint Christopher.
guys
like-
always change their names on the radio. It's always like Cat Saint Dog.
Yeah, like Stephen St. Christopher. yeah.
Stephen Saint Christopher.
Dog
That's
Saint
me.
Cat with you.
Saint Cat.
I'm looking at the MLK memorial.
He's white.
Yeah, he's white, but come on, that didn't go unnoticed. Look at this thing, the amount
That's
of time it
huge.
took to.
No, I know, but people were a
create
little
it.
upset about it. I thought people would be more upset about it, but I think it's. I remember when the Vietnam Memorial opened, and there was a big scandal. There was a lot of people who were really pissed off. First of all, it was a female. She wasn't American, I don't think. The person who created it, and when people heard that it's just going to be names, and at first they thought, why are we being cheated? The World War II monuments, whatever. They're soldiers. This is just going to be names on a wall. And as soon as people went up and saw it and were emotionally blown away by it, it all stopped.
Right.
And they thought this is the greatest war memorial in history, and all of that stopped. And I think that some of that happened with this MLK one. Is he's white or whatever, but then you walk up to it and it just
follows
knocks
suit.
you out.
Just because the other men who have had statues are all white.
Yeah, right.
But it's all this. They're all white. The stone that they use.
Right.
What are they using? Marble for the most
Yeah, what are they
part?
supposed to use
This
instead?
thing is marble. Yeah, I said ivory earlier. That would cost $90 billion.
And I think people would be more upset that
Yeah,
they used
I was gonna
ivory.
We
say
slaughtered 9,000 elephants to make this MLK memorial. So okay, well, so it was generally worth doing, going to DC and seeing these monuments. You got choked up. You're an American.
Yeah,
It
Did
affected
you really get choked up?
yeah. The Lincoln one I enjoyed. I know that it's.
I love Lincoln.
I'm going to see that one at night. I'm doing a run up through DC in April, and I'm doing the Lincoln Memorial at night. I hear that's the way to see it.
Yeah, I love
I mean,
that
if you're
scene
into
in
it,
Nixon where he's there at the Lincoln Memorial at night.
Well, I
Movie,
want-
you know the movie Nixon?
Yeah.
He shows up that really happened. Where
Oh,
he's
really?
talking to those hippies
Oh, wow.
at the Lincoln Memorial.
Well, I always wonder how many people actually. I mean, they're there, they're taking pictures, they're posing with it, and that's fine because I snapped the photo and sent it to you.
Yeah.
Because I know Lincoln's your favorite president.
Yes.
I don't know how many people actually think about it more than, oh, I see this on TV and it's on the back of the penny. Well, the old penny.
Yeah.
Because now it just says 1 cent on the back. But I don't know. People think about it more. I was thinking about the man and what he had to deal with. I was
Right.
like, he wanted to be president, and then he's like, shit, this happens. He's like, but he just decided, I got to do it.
Right.
And I just got to go through with this now, even though I want to go sit in my room and think about how terrible life is because I'm depressed constantly.
Latent homosexual. Apparently, if you follow the press, he slept with this guy John Hayes in the same bed
Just
for
the same
years.
bed, it's fine.
But then there are people who say, "Well, guys did that a lot back then."
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know.
I know that they weren't bathing a lot. It didn't smell good. in
Public
that bed.
hangings were a thing everyone went to as well, so I
Yes.
don't necessarily think that we should keep tradition alive in certain circumstances.
I don't want to sleep with a cot with a guy unless I'm sexually excited by
Did you
it.
say cot?
It's like a cot.
You said cot
cot.
with a T?
A cot.
I thought you said something else.
Yes. I don't want to sleep on a cot. Yeah, I mean, also
Like
you
a
know,
hot
people-
cot?
a hot cot.
Like a big, long, hot cot.
When people
Like a brown cot, maybe?
talk about
Ooh,
like
I
a
love
black
those
cot, a little
big-
purple cot?
Those big black cots. Those are
Ooh.
nice.
like a solid.
No
black
wonder
cot.
he.
We were talking about something of substance. We were talking about something of substance.
Well,
never
I
back on this.
related it. We said hot black
I'm
cot,
going-
and that has to
You
do
gotta-
with what you're
I'm-
talking
by
about.
the way,
Lincoln
this
likes
inside.
hot black cots.
No, the inside out shirt is bothering me. I'm going behind this curtain.
No, because I'm not done talking.
I'll
to you
listen.
yet.
I'm
I
not
would, I
done
would
talking.
switch it
Change
here,
your
but
shirt.
no one,
Wait,
no one
We're
wants
gonna
to see
change
you.
your shirt. Your
Just let me see
camera's
it.
not
No
on
one
yet.
wants to see.
Albanese
Take off
changes
your
his
shirt.
clothes all the
Take off
time
your
in
shirt.
here.
I'll do the rest of the show with my hoodie off.
So when they talk about the red and the blue states now, and a lot of commentary was like, this country has never been so polarized. Yes, it has. Lincoln could hear the enemy's guns on the other side of the Potomac when he was in the White House. I think the country was a bit more polarized in his time than it is now.
Well,
but we make
yeah.
everything now about us like this is the most important time. We've never been so polarized. Boy, if we don't stop doing this, the whole planet's going to be choked to death by the time.
Yeah.
We're not that important. We're here. We're gone.
Yeah, that's every stage of humanity,
Yeah.
right? Is that everyone
Yeah.
thinks that it's all going to happen this time? Like, how many people have said, the world is going to end during my lifetime?
Right. Oh, that was all religious before, and
Right.
now that's kind of gone, and it's the global warming people.
Or it's
we've
the-
got 20 years to turn this around. Really, after 4.5 billion years, this
Yeah.
is the 20 years.
Sure.
It's this or nothing.
Or it's
Like,
the
give me a
black, or it's
break.
black mold is going to kill us
Yes.
all, or it's peanut allergies that are going to kill us
And
all,
meanwhile, we're all living like
Bee
20
stings.
years longer.
Bee stings.
Bee stings, that will kill you.
We talking about nipples.
got a couple big.
Do you like how I
things.
always bring it back?
You
to
always bring
just
it back to the
stupid?
funny. I think that's
That's
fine.
not funny. That was
The
stupid. That was
funny is
stupid.
fine. Speaking of you and things that you're doing, Michael Albanese.
Speaking of you and
It's
stupid.
not just. I almost did that, but I didn't want to do it. 'cause I
It's
didn't wanna-
okay. You were thinking
No,
it. And that's what matters.
I thought it, but I jumped over it.
I said
Kept
it.
going. I avoided it. Michael Albanese isn't just a funny dude. He's also an actor. He's a good actor.
Ooh.
And
Let's see some acting.
Yeah, do some
I'm acting like I want to be here right now.
You're doing such a good
He
job.
put two together. It was a comedy
You see
thing.
what I
It was
just did?
acting. It was
I'm just singing all over the place.
amazing. So he got a job. He's got a job to be in something that I hadn't heard of before. It's called Swamp Murders.
Swamp Murders. Yeah,
So-
it's on
and-
Discovery ID.
I'm guessing that you will be the murderer. Given
I'll
your
tell
look,
you, yeah.
I'm putting you in a swamp, and I'm not seeing you as the victim.
Well, details are murky.
Yes.
Murky.
Swamp.
Like a swamp?
Can't talk about everything because it is a contracted television show.
That's
However,
true.
I will be in it, and I'm very
You're
excited.
playing a crazed murderer.
And as soon as I leave the studio today, I head to set.
So this, I imagine, it's one of those things where they're telling the story. There's a lot of narration, and then you're like in the flashback scenes as the guy going through the swamp, doing something
you can
like
watch
that.
the others. There's a character. They'll have a character name and
Right.
all that good stuff. So
Let's hear it a little bit. Let's hear a little bit. I don't know what Swamp
this
Murders
is from last season, I think.
Gregor.
They say the swamp has no memory, that anyone who wanders in never finds their way out. Because among the trees and moss, there are those who don't want their secrets revealed. But in the end, truth will surface.
Swamp Murders, all new series premieres Tuesday, June 4th at 10 on Investigation Discovery.
Love
You
it.
will be one of those
I will
murdering in
be
the
in
swamp.
Do you have any
I-
lines?
Look, we can't talk about this right
No.
now.
I was gonna say sometimes those flashbacks, even the murderer has a line like "Get in the trunk." That's about it.
Hopefully, that's my line. I want it to be.
Yeah, if you go there and they tell you your line is "Get in the trunk,"
I'm
you're
just
gonna
so
freak
happy.
out.
If you happen to get famous from this, like you,
Yeah, because that
you would have to deal with the fact that you wouldn't have never gotten that fame if that person wouldn't have gotten murdered. These are real stories,
Absolutely.
right? These are
yeah,
true,
from what
true
I
stuff.
gather,
right?
yeah, they're like,
They're not. Are they urban
embellished
myths
stories,
or
of,
are they?
I think they could be both.
Right,
I don't
okay.
know. I don't know the full details.
Yeah.
of
At some point, somebody said, "Hey, a lot of people have been murdered in swamps." Enough to
know,
do a
what is
season? Yes.
Yeah.
We've got like documented 47 cases, so we could do a
Yeah.
few cases. We could do
We
a
got a
few
couple seasons here, bud.
Swamp
It
is
turns
not
out there's like a serial killer that's killing people in
Yeah.
swamps, but these people don't want it to get out.
Yeah.
'Cause
Actually,
they
what
want
it
to
is,
keep their show
Same
going.
guy.
it's a production company that films a TV show about swamp murders, murdering actors that portray people that murder.
We may never
in
see you
swamps.
again.
Yeah.
Whoa, this
It's so meta, you don't even
Oh my
understand.
God.
It. Yeah.
It's method and it's meta and it's all of it.
Absolutely.
So
It's
this
snake
is it.
eating its own tail.
Yeah.
It's it's whatever that word is
Yeah,
that I can't think of right now.
That is good.
So no, I don't want to. The word swamp scares me, and I don't want to go near swamps. I think that's a bad place to be.
I don't like swamps either.
Why would
I don't
you-
know. They haven't sent me a location yet. So
Don't get
I'm
mosquito
probably-
bites.
Maybe you'll be CGI'd.
Hopefully.
You'll
Hopefully
be
it's
walking, you'll be walking
CGI
through a
made.
studio.
Green screen.
Green screen.
You ever thought about being a professional noisemaker? You
was
and Michael
Turkey.
Winslow from
Turkey.
Police Academy. You guys should hook up. Are you saying wiener?
It's my European siren.
It's good.
Wiener, wiener.
Woo 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 woo.
I do a
woo.
pretty good. I do a pretty good NASCAR, even though I don't watch it.
Let's hear it.
You want to hear it? All right, you might have to turn me down a little bit. Cover your mouth. It might get a little spitty in here.
No, you covered your mouth.
It's pretty good.
That's good.
Or an elephant also.
Hey, that's a different
Well,
one. I
an
don't shake my head
an
back and
elephant-
forth for
Okay.
the elephant.
That's an elephant moving at 150 miles an hour. That's the difference. I like the way you had the Doppler effect in there. That was very
Yeah,
cool.
you had to, yeah.
Oh, do it
I'm
again.
a
One more time.
professional.
One more time.
Or you can do. Or
That's more indie. I gotta
need
say.
one
That's
more.
by the way.
You
That's
need-
that's,
wait.
that's more Formula One indie.
Hold on, dude.
Hey, that's what I wanted.
When did you
pretty
discover that you had this talent?
I was like 6. I don't know. I was a weird fucking kid, man.
Fantastic. So this is one of those things. It'll be on TV in 6 months.
Yeah,
or
I'm
something,
sure I'll
right?
post about it a lot.
Yeah.
Like I did with Judge Alex.
Right.
So
How long was it between being on Judge Alex and Judge Alex actually being
almost
on the
a
air?
year,
Really?
Yeah.
They go that deep into the can.
I guess, man.
Maybe
I
they
don't know.
just kind of put them on when they feel like they haven't had a case like that in a while or
Well,
something.
I think they film like a whole season at once, and they do like 5, 6, 7 cases a day for like 3. I mean, that's a
Right.
lot of stuff.
yeah,
they
but then
gotta put
they
on.
have all that extra
I'm sure they
time on.
cut a bunch of them too, like people that aren't fun or interesting to listen to. They get rid of those. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
and yeah, maybe people
be.
that did it at a certain time get on sooner because they
Yeah,
do the
maybe.
whole year
Maybe you're
or a
probably
whole
right.
season.
And
I generally don't have knowledge of anything that I do typically,
Greg,
as you could tell.
are you leaving us soon again? Like, did you tell me you're going someplace because somebody's getting married or something? Am I going to lose you again in a couple of weeks?
No, I'm just. It's just.
I wrote a note down here.
Just
and I
the
can't remember
5th.
why that I wrote that.
just April 5th, which is a Saturday. We're fine.
Okay. So you, why did I write down destination weddings? Like you were going to go
Oh,
somewhere.
because you wanted
Oh,
to ask him
because-
about it.
What's going on is my friend, like the one guy I don't even really talk to from high school anymore, but for a while I hung out with him.
He's like your best friend. What are you talking about?
And people grow apart.
All right, but
That's
he's
the way it
still-
goes.
Okay.
But he's having, I think it was more of his fiance's idea. They're having a destination wedding, not even in Cancun. You have to fly to Cancun, rent a car, then drive an hour south of Cancun to some small beach. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. So they're having a get-together in North Carolina on the 5th. And
Just
that's what
for
I'm
you.
going to. Well, yeah, just for me and everyone else who said, fuck you and your destination wedding.
wedding is just for people that don't want anyone to go.
That's what I'm assuming
Right.
is like they want a really small wedding and they have a lot of friends and so they go, you know, we're gonna get married on the moon. If you can make it, you're invited. You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
really.
I don't get the whole thing. Why would I want to travel? Then I got to take a vacation to go to your wedding. 'Cause
Yeah.
you can't just go to Cancun for a day and fly back.
My
right?
friend,
I
my
mean,
friends are getting married on this tiny little place, but they're not inviting anybody. It's a destination wedding. So
Macon.
they don't want anybody there.
Macon.
Yeah, it's in
yeah,
Macon.
destination. Yeah.
I said it twice just in case.
Macon.
I thought it was.
Joke.
I said
Actually,
Macon.
Did you hear that joke?
I think it was funnier the second time. Actually, you drove it home. You drove the
they're-
funny home.
They're doing it. It's either because you don't want people there, or so they're doing it because they don't want their families there. Like their families are kind of funky,
Right.
And maybe one side of the family doesn't approve of like this part of the family, and they won't get along.
why
And so
don't
like
they
just stay
just-
out of it.
Why don't they just go down to the courthouse and?
Yeah, but then that's no
Elope.
fun.
That's how I got married.
Yeah, you could do that, I guess. But it's more fun to like, oh, let's go together, and then they're like instant honeymoon.
Yeah, they're right there. You're at the. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the thing is, what do you as a destination? I know people who do this. I've never actually gone. Anybody says destination wedding, I'm like, well, you know, tell me where I can send you the check, and that's it.
Sounds
I'll
like
see
a
you when you
stupid
get back.
TLC show.
Destination weddings.
Weddings.
Yeah.
Hey, don't make fun. You may get a role on that sometime soon. You know,
Get in the trunk. Same line.
Same line.
Michael
Which
has
is how
the
I
same
plan on
line.
getting married anyway.
So yeah, so it's because of all the fighting between the families, and they were trying to
Drama.
get away from everybody.
Yeah, because then it's about the two of them and not about like pleasing your family. Because that's what happens, right?
Right.
Sometimes when you get married, it's like all this planning, and then, well, this side of the family thinks that this should happen, and it's like, well, why aren't you having this, and why can't you do that? And then,
My wedding-
tablecloths and forks and
We had two. We had a wedding in a park,
Mm-hmm.
and but we had failed to get all of our paperwork done by the time that we had told everybody we were going to get married. So everybody there didn't know this, but we weren't actually officially married in the park. And like a week later, we just ran down to a courthouse and got the thing, whatever. And I thought that's fine because it's just a ceremony.
It's just a ceremony.
wedding is a ceremony where I'm telling all my friends and she's telling all her friends and family, I'm committed to this other person
Right.
and this is the vow that I'm taking. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
You could take that vow and never really get married. I think that the thing of taking the vow was more important than writing my name on that piece of paper. Literally, in L.A. where we did this, you walked up to the window, they ask you a few questions, you sign some documents, you walk out married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it took 20 minutes.
That
like-
wasn't like.
They asked us a few questions. We didn't go in and sit down. We were still
Because
at
they're
that, like, bank
losing
teller
traction.
Yeah.
type of
So many people aren't getting married. They're like, yeah, whatever.
Hey, come on over here. Come on over here. So, can I talk about this? Because you reminded me of that when you said the families thing. That, now, just tell me not to bring this up, and I will stop.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay. As you said, I don't want to call it your mantra from yesterday.
It's okay.
Breathe deep. But you told me that your family is having something that only families can do. This is a very modern thing.
Yeah, it is.
They're
modern.
having a virtual sort of family fight. It's all happening online. People aren't like getting in each other's faces.
Yeah.
It's all happening like on Facebook or something.
It's all happening through this Google group that we started with our family because we're Catholic and we have a big old family and we
Right.
keep in touch. And so there are some cousins of the core family that came into the group that are just a little bit different than us. Like
Okay.
they're just a little bit funnier, like
funny, haha, funny, really funny, or
no, like funny, like kind of funny.
As in-
Like posting things on here about like sending images of this person didn't wear their seatbelt. And like car crash images that are like,
they're not getting the point of why you guys got together like this.
Yeah, we're talking like we're talking to each other, saying like, "Guess who's pregnant?"
Right,
and "Happy
right.
birthday, so and so." Or
People are asking you, Autumn, how's the pregnancy going? Or
Yeah.
how was the last doctor's visit? Things,
Right.
family things.
or saying, "Yeah, like oh, this cousin, we have this great new game. Have you heard of it?" Like stuff like that. But they come in and they are just not on the same wavelength as we
Yeah.
all are, and so. One of my aunts who's has some troubles with everyone in the family at some point in time, she got on there and told it how it is. Like, we don't want you here.
Oh,
we told
boy.
you, like, you guys were here temporarily and now you're still here and all of the chatter has changed and no one wants to talk on here anymore because you guys are here and I'm the only one who'll say it.
Is she right?
Well, yeah. So that was the problem, was like, oh shit, she is blowing up and like, this is her new target,
Right,
and
right.
no one's surprised by that.
If
And
anyone
then-
was going to do it, it was going to be her.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for the person who she was talking to. I wanted to email them separately and say, "Oh, I'm really sorry that you're being targeted. That sucks." But I also
Kinda right.
Yeah. But you
Maybe
could
gotta-
just stop
right.
posting if you wanted.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know what I hate is and I've never been in a group like this in my family, which I should. I suppose it's kind of a cool way to do it. But I hate when, like on my Facebook and stuff, sometimes people will get in there. Sometimes they're family, sometimes they're not. But I swear to God, if you believe in angels, I do not want to fucking hear about it on my fucking... I mean, what is it with angels? And it's here's a prayer for... I don't want that.
yeah.
I don't want that on my Facebook. I don't want to see it. And I had one person who did it just one too many times. And I was in a bad mood. It was one of the times that the regular guys have been kicked off the air. I was like, nobody's calling me on what the hell's going on in my life. And so I took it out on this person. And basically I said, I don't send Einstein's theories to your Facebook page.
Right, to try and
Yeah. Like I don't want any, I mean, I just went off. I was cruel to this person about their stupid fucking angel messages. If you believe in really, these messages are like, they're right here, they're in the room, they're looking at you, they're, I think that you are ignorant. What?
I found an angel.
You found an angel? Is that your
I
song?
took a photo. We had a shoot, and I went on this balcony and got a photo of the Midtown skyline with the Empire State Building. Then I
a good
applied.
photographer, Greg.
Well, I applied the noir filter to it, so I cheated.
okay, it's not-
But look above the spire. Look above the spire and zoom in on that. The Empire State Building. I know this is terrible radio, but there's an angel there. Look at that angel floating,
Let me see.
floating
Oh,
above.
wait, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, but see, I don't understand
It's Jesus.
when people
Dude,
say,
it's got like arms, man.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
That's true. I believe it.
You
I've
probably
seen it.
put it in there with that filter.
I didn't
There's
put
probably
that in
a
there.
filter.
That
Oh,
showed up.
Angel filter.
You know what I want to do?
Boom.
I want to go to a Christian message board of some sort and post it, and they will go crazy.
Yes.
They
You've
will
got
go
to.
crazy.
You've got to. I want to see how many theories.
You have to zoom in a little more.
It's the little
Right above the spire of the Empire State Building.
It's a little speck that's
No,
on the
that's
camera
there's
lens.
arms.
Arms.
It's floating above the Empire State Building. That's symbolic of something. I'm not exactly sure what.
I
This
think
is like-
I would like for you to post this on one of those.
All right, I'll do that.
Don't go after not like
No,
real,
I'm not
not
gonna-
like real Christians, but the weirdos, the angel people.
the angel people.
The angel people. The people who think they're acting. There are people in this world who are walking around thinking that angels are watching everything they do.
You don't
and
know that that's
helping
not
them.
true.
I can't. Well, you can't. What's the saying? You
I
can't
don't
prove
know.
it. Can't prove a negative. I can't prove anything's
Well, you
not
can't
true.
prove it's not or it is. It's one of those. It's one of those.
No.
things.
So if you tell
Because
me it's an angel, it's on you to prove it, not for me to disprove
Well,
it.
let me ask you this: do you believe that in dimensional beings? Do you believe in dimensions?
I
any
think
matter?
there's a lot of good evidence that there's multi-dimensions. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know this. I don't think this is all
So
settled.
the theory of being in a single dimension is light. It's light. Everything is light reflecting off of reflecting and refracting.
Right.
Which light travels in a certain way. Mm-hmm. And so if our dimension exists here, this is nobody can see this, but I'm just making it like
He's
a
making
light
this
wave.
noise. This is thing. That you
A
just
light
like,
wave.
Yeah.
And then so imagine on like an XY axis, you
Right.
have a light wave, and this is our
Or an
dimension.
axis.
Well, same thing. And then there's another dimension down here
Right.
doing their thing that we can't
Right.
see because they're not on our same
Right.
this wavelength.
Right.
Now, what happens if these two like randomly peaks and valleys
Cross at some point.
cross, and then they go back to normal, and that a ghost, an angel, whatever, is just a different dimension of existence.
because in reality, that frequency thing that you're talking about, when they do cross, they cancel one another out. Two waves cross, they cancel one another out. So actually, it's more likely that nothing.
So there
would
can't be
happen.
any crossover. Not even like
no,
blurry
but
vision
I'm saying
or a
is-
ghost.
It would be more of a bleed through. It would be more of a bleed through in dimensions than a crossover.
Well, because you don't
Right.
see it. You don't see the
Right.
ghost like it
But you
is
could
actually
hear it.
real, but you can maybe sense
All right.
it or
First of
feel
all,
it or-
what I'm saying to you is that there's mathematical ideas that are pretty strong that say there are multi dimensions. Once you start throwing angels and ghosts in, we get into a little bit of a different thing, I think, as to whether or
well,
not
and, and if ghosts are real, then so many other things are real, right?
Yeah, if ghosts are real, everything
what?
goes.
What?
Everything's just out.
What?
If
What
ghosts
else
are
is
real,
real? I don't believe in ghosts, and someone tells me they believe in ghosts. I hate them. I will automatically dismiss
hate them.
I do.
I dismiss them. I do dismiss them.
Well-
If somebody tells me I saw a ghost and then they're talking about politics 15 minutes later, I don't give a shit what they're talking about. They believe in ghosts. So
I had to be a little extreme,
no, I know,
but
I'm
I'm
the same
curious
way.
what else exists at that point, like
Everything.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, all of it.
Chupacabras?
Everything exists. Chupacabra exists.
I know.
Everything.
No, it just means that everyone who has ever died might still exist and hanging out.
Well, that'd be a
somewhere.
great. That's a great thing. You die and just hang around here.
Yeah.
But you can't like enjoy
What do you
anything.
do in heaven? Let's go back. I don't want to go back to religion, really, but just quickly, what do you do in heaven? You hang out.
All right.
You're not
Yeah,
going
but
to see
that's totally
movies.
different.
Great heart.
You don't know
music.
that. They could be seeing movies. Angels in the
Noah?
outfield, perhaps.
Noah's a big one.
Noah?
They're really waiting
Miracle
for
on
that.
34th Street. Anyone?
Ben Hur, I hear, is quite popular.
Ben him. They don't fuck around in heaven.
Ben they.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Ben, whatever you choose your sexual preference and or
That's right.
being to be.
Do people ever think like if there's an angel
No, that made
watching
sense.
you at all times, and that means that while you're taking a dump, there's an angel watching you?
Have you heard
Like,
that?
do they stop? Do they stop looking at you then?
Well,
Do
there's
they-
more
Right.
people. Are
When you're
angels,
masturbating, do they go, okay, this is his time?
Well, we also saying that angels are only people who've died, or that the ghosts are angels separate entities than dead people.
yeah.
so
They're
Because
different.
right now there are
Angels, I
more
think-
people alive than have ever died in the history of mankind.
Ain't that something?
So there wouldn't be one for each of us. They're
No.
pulling double duty now.
No, but angels were
Triple
around.
duty.
Angels, because the devil's a fallen angel. Angels were around.
So
they're,
they're just-
they're like the microwave background radiation. They've been there from, since the beginning. You know.
Have you heard that Aziz Ansari thing where he says like he lives in a very modern building. So if anyone has died recently, he's going to be haunted by this modern ghost
Right.
that's like, "What's your Wi-Fi password?
Hold on.
Do it again.
What's your Wi-Fi password?"
She's stealing material
one.
from other comedians.
me
I don't
one.
want
Give me
to
one.
boost that up.
Can I have an echo? Wi-Fi password is your mom's a whore. One word.
One word.
Are we done stealing from other comedians?
That's
Who
funny.
stole that?
She stole
It's
it
from
from Aziz Ansari.
Oh, that was oh man. See, I should pay more attention.
Just
Yeah.
anytime there's a whisper, I have to do it. That's all. I wasn't trying to promote the
Whispering's fun.
theft.
No, you're promoting
Oh,
plagiarism.
we were being a ghost.
I hope no. But she credited it. It's okay. As long as you say, I heard somebody
Yeah.
say this, then it's okay. Unlike my old partner who would just say things that and just act like it was his when it was somebody else's. I don't know why I threw it in there. Anyway,
I'm kind of freaking out that I talked about my family.
Yep.
see, now they're going to be on your
Flame war.
ass.
The flame war is continuing.
Yes,
it's really, it's a big battle.
on your ass. This is all of it. You need your mantra now when you go
My
home.
mantra.
Hey, log on and see if
See if anybody's noticed yet.
Oh, listen. So, I mean, can I just say one tiny thing?
Are you going to
I love my
backtrack
family
here?
very much.
You love all of them, right?
I do, and this is just something that comes with
Families-
having a big family. Is
Families
that
get
people
on your nerves, you know?
Exactly.
I mean, I have people, I've decided that my family's big. We're not very close, but there's a lot of us. And I think a few years ago, one of them sued the other one
Ooh.
over something. You know, like somebody said they were going to get something in a will, and the other
Oh,
person
no.
controlling that didn't
Yeah.
give that up, and then there was suing. And I just feel like, you know, and everybody wanted my point of view on it. My point of view is, even if you're right, you're an asshole if you sue your family member. I'm sorry. You know, unless it's, you know, they stole $1 million from you. or
Yeah, like
something.
Macaulay Culkin had a good reason to sue, you know?
Yeah, because they were taking his money. They were
Exactly.
stealing
Right.
from him, and they were in charge of his thing. I get that. But over some kind of thing, Mom told me I was going to get this in the
Right.
will. Hey,
Right.
guess what? Fuck you. She's dead, and you didn't get it. Move on. You know, it's not as important as you think it is.
And if you're going to show grace, you know, we're kind of,
Yes.
you know, then
Yes.
at least show it to your family.
Yes.
You know,
I'm going to drag my whole family through this, so everybody has to have an opinion, and
Yeah.
everybody has to line up on one side or another. Go to hell. Go buy a new ring. You didn't get the ring that Mom
Yeah.
said you were going to get. You know. Is that what it was? I'm not stealing from your
No.
thing, is it? I feel like you told me a story.
X-Men
of
on the
something.
ring, right?
But there was a story like that in my family too. It wasn't
Yeah,
a
yeah.
ring. It was like it's my family, so it was a motorcycle. But you know,
Yeah.
so, literally.
All right.
One
People were
person
very upset
sued-
about a motorcycle.
Yeah, it was somebody sued because they were supposed to get a motorcycle in the will, and they didn't get the motorcycle, and it was like a good Harley or some kind of thing like that, and then they sued, and like
Right.
everybody's coming to me and wants to know my opinion.
I
My
know.
opinion is leave me alone.
I know,
That's
I wanna
my
stay out
opinion.
of it.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't. You know, if I want a motorcycle, I'll buy one. And by the way, if you want one, you should go buy one too.
Yeah.
Who got the motorcycle?
In the end,
Yeah.
I don't think that the lawsuit was successful. So I think the person who was holding the motorcycle kept it.
Wait.
Because I think it was one of
That
those
was
things-
originally supposed to be given to?
It was supposed to be left in the will. I think there was a verbal agreement that he would leave the motorcycle.
So like a law firm got to keep the motorcycle? 'cause
No.
nobody could agree to
The,
it?
one other person in the family
Who
was
had it.
controlling
Oh, okay.
everything. You know,
Right.
It's
Would have
like
been great if the person who got the motorcycle wrecked it and died. I'm glad I didn't win that lawsuit.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then gave it to
The other guy.
And
the
then
other
his
guy,
will.
yeah.
Who got on it, wrecked it, and died? This is the death cycle.
That's
for
the
God's
that's
sakes.
the
You don't
best
want
thing,
that.
the place to be then is the executor of the will if you're in the family and you got a bunch of stuff because
got power.
everything that isn't assigned you keep. It's
Yeah, that's-
yours.
basically, you can.
Yeah,
solid.
when my grandma died, you know, there's 7 brothers and sisters on my mom's side. So
Oh wow! Do they dance and stuff together up in the woods?
yeah, they have a whole routine they do.
do they dance on 2x4s and flip backwards? And we're 7 brothers who need 7 brides. You ever seen that? 7 brides for 7 brothers?
I've seen parts of it. I
It's a
haven't seen the whole thing.
musical. And the whole musical is ridiculous. These mountain people come down to the city and they steal the women.
They
And they
need
go back.
brides.
They need brides. They steal women. This is what's great about this. Could never happen now in
Right.
Hollywood.
Unless
They-
you camp in Helen, Georgia.
Yes, well, but they go
then
down.
That's what I do.
They steal the women. They take them back up to the mountains just before the snow comes, and you can't pass until the spring. So the women go up there. They're hostages at first, and by the end, they're in love and they all get married.
Aw, that's how it was back then.
That's
Oh,
on their
Trev.
first album called Stockholm Syndrome. Jesus.
So you have 7. You were saying. I
Oh
interrupted
no,
you.
that's all right. Just I have 7 total. There were 7 total kids,
Right.
and when my grandma died, there was some arguing about like where
Yeah.
things should go, who was supposed to get this, and because that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Families
Yeah,
and
but see, I
families
won't-
are the ones who fight the most.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's the problem.
Yeah, and that's why
People
like you
don't
fight
know
with your
how to-
husband or your wife
Right.
more intensely than you would with somebody you
Sure.
don't care about. You know?
I get that, but I think that you just have to be above that. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't you why would you engage in that with your family? You have to be above it. I don't know.
It's hard to be above it when you feel righteous, you know, and you feel like you are doing the right thing and I am doing
But
the right
why?
thing and you are doing the wrong thing.
But why? But why just move on with your life? I don't want anything from anybody.
Yeah.
You know, my wife's family has money and my family does not, you know. So my whole thing is, Jane, don't get me involved in anything. if
Jesus.
if you no, but no, but
I
I
wanted
mean,
to take
no,
a pottery class with you, but I don't want to get you involved. So I don't know why your wife's Jewish all of a sudden.
Your son
because-
is failing math. I don't want to
No,
know
no,
about
no,
it.
I don't
No.
care.
No,
I
I don't
want to
wanna be
swim in my
involved.
pool and think about taking
I don't want to be
pills.
involved in anything that has to do with wills.
Yeah.
Of my father-in-law,
Stevens, Joseph's.
my father-in-law
Bills, I get it. I didn't
has
get it.
passed away already, and so my mother-in-law is still alive, and I love her, and I don't want anything to happen to her, and she's 82 or something like that, and I don't even want to think about it or anything. And so I told my wife, this is because then what happens if my wife dies on an airplane before my mother-in-law does?
Right.
Then it's left with me or whatever. And so people ask me questions like that. I say, this is the way that I want it. I want it to be known that I'm not looking for a dime, and just think about the grandkids, and whatever you put in there, it goes to them. If I think it's the worst deal of all time, I will say nothing about it. To me, that is the dirtiest, nastiest thing. Why would I get in a fight for somebody else's money? First of all, it's the father-in-law who's now gone who made most of this money. How am I going to get in a fight that I should have more of that money, or my kid should have more of that money? I got legs and arms and a brain to go out and make money. And so if you're just squabbling over stuff like that, I just think that you're petty. And if you're doing that and you're involved in something like that right now, just stop.
And
Just stop. You can do that, You can disengage from petty conflicts if you choose to, and your life gets a lot better.
It might be a way to avoid the grieving, right?
Yeah, it could be.
It's like, well,
Diversion.
I'm gonna focus on this instead
Right.
of actually my feelings about my mom being dead.
Right. I just think that people, if they were smarter, why do people have to play the game? My wife just went through the change, whatever, menopause, whatever, right? The change, right? Well, I mean,
It's like you didn't want to call it out at first. The change.
The
Yeah,
change.
man.
Well,
She
when
went
I
to
was a
Coinstar
kid,
and
yeah, so-
sorted it. What are we talking
She
about?
went
right
through
now?
all the change.
I got the.
You know that old joke? You know the old joke about the lady who goes to the
No.
She goes to the doctor and she says every time I pee, it's all nickels come out. And he goes, and she comes back and every time I pee, it's all dimes coming out. Every time I pee, and
Okay.
the third time the doctor says, "It's okay, you're just going through your change." It's a good joke.
Ah.
It's an old joke. It's basically the same joke that you made. I didn't. No, I didn't write that joke. Don't be putting that on me.
Yeah, that wasn't you. You set it up properly.
So when that was coming on, and the hot flashes
Yeah.
and the moods and stuff, and I just said, look, I got an idea. All our lives, we've been hearing jokes about the change and menopause and how things go, and we know that it's there. How about we just sit it out? How about I don't get super angry because you're changing this or that or whatever, and it's called the change for a reason. It's not called the permanence. It's called the change. It's a transition. You go through it. I got an idea. We're smart people. Let's just not fight about that shit.
Were you guys fighting about it?
No, but not fighting about it. But she's going through.
It's just an adjustment
Why do you ask
period?
that like people don't? I mean, that's the whole thing. Is people?
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult for marriages. The kids get out of the house. The wife suddenly becomes a raging bitch because her chemicals are completely changing and moving, and her body's changing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I got an idea. You tell me how you feel. I won't bitch about it. It's a transitional thing. I mean, intellectually, you can choose to be happy. You can choose not to sue a family member. You can choose to go, you know what, I wanted that ring. It was an heirloom, but it's not the end of the world, and
Right.
I'm never going to think of it again. You
Definitely.
can choose that, or you can just choose to win, and I'll beat that other family member who wants that family heirloom. Family
Yeah.
heirloom that has to be fought over is worthless. Worthless. It's
Yeah,
not
because
worth
the person
having.
that wants to give it to you would not want you to be fighting over it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And toward the end of their life, their brains are a little scrambled, and so they told 3 people they could have the ring. You know what?
That's
I mean,
true,
that's
yeah.
what happens,
Yeah.
right?
I would. I'd like to watch the people fight. It's
You
like breaking the pool cue and throwing it in there with 3 people. 2 of you get that. Fight to the death.
Your will be structured to create family arguments, probably. We're running out of time here, so why don't we talk about Patreon real quick, which even though we don't really do Patreon commercials anymore, but
But here we go.
if you do want to be part of what we're doing here, you want some skin in the game, where do they go?
Patreon.com.
I like that. It's got an erotic. Where do they go to once they get to patreon.com?
Eric Vaughn Radio.
That's 3
Wow,
words.
listen to that voice.
That's 3 words, right?
3 words, yes.
And is there lube available there? Oh, this is the sound of this commercial maybe going.
Discounted KY jelly. For a donation of $25 a month.
That's, by the way, is comedy. That's not really true.
This is comedy.
We can add it. You want to add that?
No,
hey,
I got
listen.
enough. I've got a fucking newsletter.
We're
I
stuck
gotta
at
do.
57, man. We got to up the game.
You know, I think what's going to happen with Patreon. I think it will plateau and then it'll go again. And but I don't want to keep banging people. We got 57 great people who are helping us out, and that helps. I just put a Patreon thing in the Shanzing account yesterday. It helps. Every little bit helps. It's good. If you want to join us, go to patreon.com and give us what you can. I have levels there to start at $10. You can give us $1. I don't know.
Spermicide.
All spermicide. We'll kill all sperm.
Hey, get your lube, your condoms, your spermicide through our Amazon banner link.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, at
See?
ericvonradio.com. At the bottom of the page, you'll see an Amazon link. You can click through that. You can bookmark it. And then every time you go to Amazon, we'll get, you're just going to buy something.
Yeah, Amazon's great.
Amazon's wonderful. And then we'll just get a tiny little bit of it. And no harm, no foul.
Doesn't
no skin
cost
off
you
your
anymore.
nose
No.
hairs.
Can you make the Amazon thing sound sexy? Amazon.
That's Autumn's deal. Here you go, Autumn.
Yeah.
Little, just above a whisper.
Amazon.
There you go.
Amazon.
No, now no, we don't want.
Amazon.
No, I like that sexy thing, like you're doing an adult bookstore commercial on radio.
Amazon.com
Has all your. Go ahead, good.
has all your spermicidal lubricants you need. We get a kickback. So click on it,
Come on, sexy.
idiots.
No, come on, sexy.
no, people-
Oh, sorry.
Sexy guy, sexy dude.
Sexy guy.
So, some people like the abuse. That's part of their deal. The powerful men in the world.
Isn't that crazy? That's real. That I think that's bananas, but it's real. That these
Yeah.
guys apparently who are CEOs of big companies and stuff, that they're fetish. They go and they have somebody beat the crap out of them, tell them there's a piece of.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, you're gonna. Can I? Oh, you're gonna fuck me with that little. It's too dirty. I'm sorry.
Can't do it.
Like they're trying to be really mean.
I thought they just spanked you or something.
No, they're like telling them like, oh, what
They
is
demean
this?
them. There's
Is
demeaning.
this
that
you?
goes on.
Oh,
Right.
this is the best you can do.
and that turns them on.
My high school boyfriend was better than this.
And that turns them on.
Yes, I think
Burn.
so. I don't know. I can't do it.
That
I
hurts.
don't have any practice.
You should try it out.
Yeah,
You could
I'll
be
try.
the pregnant dominatrix. You see, you could
Ooh.
have made money for like 6 months. Now you're almost at the end of your term here. It doesn't matter.
I don't know if I should bring a baby into the sexual realm.
He's not there.
Yeah,
He's there, but he's not there. Or she's there, but not there.
Yeah.
Can we say it's a she now?
yeah.
Have
It's a girl.
you come up with a name?
No, we have some names we're kicking
I'm
around.
calling her
but-
Betty. You know that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's a name that used to, like every other kid.
Buckhead.
Buckhead Betty.
Everybody, Betty used to be a name that was everywhere, and now it's hardly ever. Kids hardly ever name their kids Betty.
My grandmother's name was Betty.
See? I mean, I understand Gertrude going the way of the dodo.
Gisela. That's my grandmother's name.
Gisela. That's awesome.
Is that the German one?
Yeah.
Oh, she's a trip. I like her. I met her once, and she was just like, she was funny. She was funny.
She's having flashbacks now from the war because she was half Jewish and they had to
Right.
hide.
No, the one time I met.
Wow.
in Berlin, and then now she's losing her mind and she's
Right.
paranoid of everyone.
Oh, that
Oh,
the
no.
Nazis are coming and stuff. That's
yeah,
too bad.
and the Red Army more so, the Nazis. But then
All
once Berlin was liberated,
Oh,
and the
was
Red
she on
Army
the
was
east side?
coming. No, but they got to Berlin first.
Okay.
And they apparently just raped everyone.
Of course.
Wow,
Freaking commies.
that's scary.
That's like you're being liberated by people who you don't know if they're worse than the people who you just got
You've
rid
been
of.
running from.
I've already at least been raped once by them. Now I got to get a whole new crew come in.
That's the thing; they probably wouldn't rape them. Like, we're not going to have sex with a Jewish
Oh, right,
woman.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
'cause
they're
they
pigs.
were exactly.
Scum.
That was the point of view of the Nazis, not Autumn
Oh, no,
Fisher
not
in
me.
2014. I want to point that out. The
course
way you
not.
said that kind of
No,
got
I was playing the part.
When I met your grandmother, I thought she was.
Acting.
I thought she was a blast. And she was going after the French. Man, she hated the French. This was like the year 2002 or something. And she was just going, the French, those sons of bitches. We're against the Nazis. They rolled over like a gun. She just went off on the
Wow.
French,
Well,
man.
she told me once if she'd met a pilot, an American or British pilot who bombed Berlin, her hometown, she'd thank them. So,
Yeah.
man, things are pretty dire.
yeah.
It's
yeah.
like, yeah, this is where I live. Thanks for blowing it up.
Well, they tried to take over the world, and they got. What was with that Hitler? Did he really think he could take? Did he think he could declare war on every country in the world at the same time and possibly win. Hey, you too! I'll fight you. It's like I'm gonna fight everybody in this bar. Take them one at a time, Adolf.
I like Eddie. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I like Eddie Izzard's take on what Hitler was a vegetarian and a painter. In one of his special things, sexy. And he goes, Hitler was just like, I can't get the damn trees. Fuck it, I'll kill everyone.
You know, it's weird. A lot of like killers
Fucking love Eddie Izzard.
have art backgrounds that didn't work out.
They fail.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like the
John
the
Wayne
clown
Gacy,
guy.
the clown guy. He was a painter. You know, watch the
Well, face
first of all,
painter. Let's not be.
Yeah.
Manson.
Manson was an artist, a songwriter. The whole thing happened that Manson, and I didn't realize this, that Sharon Tate thing happened because they were just living in the wrong house.
Yeah.
The producer that Charlie Manson felt that he had a deal with that was going to produce his music and never called. You know how the Hollywood is. Hey, I'll call you. He never called him. And so he went back to that house to kill the people there because they didn't produce his music. Meanwhile, the guy had sold the house to Roman Polanski and his new wife. And so they get all that happens because, misunderstanding. Oops.
Right.
Sorry. And then they just got they liked the taste of it. Then they just started going around killing people just for the fun of it.
What a weirdo.
Should have
Wrong.
signed
And
him.
I bring that up because Michael Albanese will be playing the part of the serial killer.
Absolutely. Very excited about it.
The new version of Helter Skelter, which is
Well,
hitting
it's
screens
called Skelter Helter. We're all kooky in this house. It's a musical.
I watched the thing on that Manson thing on A&E or something. It was 2 hours long. I knew it was brutal, but jeez, people are just hanging out in their house, and all of a sudden like, to us it's history. To them, they're just sitting around partying, having fun, and somebody breaks in the back window, and they tied them all together. It was just awful.
Who was Manson's like dude that was with him?
Tex was the guy who
Tex
did
Watkins?
most of the killing. Yeah. he
Yeah.
did,
Steve.
Steve.
It was his lawyer / machete wielder.
I mean, just the craziest.
They had a good thing going
senseless-
before they started killing people. They were just like hanging out and
They were
having
hanging
sex
out.
with like runaways.
Everybody's having sex with the runaways. The runaways are having sex with each other.
Yeah.
Your child is taken from you as soon as you enter the camp and put over in some kind
Right.
of thing. So there's no responsibility for the children whatsoever. They're just getting high, whatever. But they didn't have funds. They didn't
Yeah.
have money, and that drove them to some weird stuff. And then Manson apparently started to believe he was some sort of messiah.
Right.
You know, the interesting. I don't know why I've gone on this little rat hole, but usually crazy people when they listen, because he listened to the White Album, he got a lot of ideas. But usually the difference between Manson and most crazy people would have listened to the Beatles and thought they're talking to me. That's not what Manson thought. Manson thought they heard my message. And they're on board.
Really?
Manson thought they had heard his preaching, and now they were singing about it.
About like
and this
digging
was-
a hole in the desert or something.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I don't know where. Yeah,
That-
he believed there was going to be a racial war. We had to.
Right.
He was a racist, but he believed that the white man had it coming for the way that he treated. This is what he believed: that the white man did have it coming for the way the white man treated the black man, right? And the war was going to come in the next 6 months or something like that. The blacks were going to win that war,
Right.
But Manson was a racist, and he believed that what was going to happen was the blacks would realize that they weren't smart enough to actually run things, and that's when they would call Charlie Manson in to run things. And people sat there smoking pot going, yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Man.
It seems logical to me. So we've done Patreon, we've done Charlie Manson. Let's do just a little bit of news before we get to Nick Cellini.
Yeah, we want to talk about space ripples.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of space talk lately, but that's fine with me. I like it.
Yeah, so they're saying that these space ripples are the smoking gun for the Big Bang.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm afraid
Well,
to
I
talk
think-
about it too much
Hold
because
on,
we're
let's
gonna
say
mess
Space
it up.
news. Damn it, we didn't do it. Space news.
I don't know that it would be and Greg. Thank you. Sorry, I stepped on you.
That was my fault. It didn't happen, and we'll get it. We'll figure it together.
Next
Sorry,
time we do
That was
space-
good. I
next
liked
time we do
it.
space news, we'll have it down. It'll be fine.
but I interrupted you. I'm such an asshole.
Uh,
I'm so stupid.
Craig's maybe knows a little more than me, but I think that this is more the smoking gun for the theory of acceleration, right? Was that what it's called? Acceleration? Not acceleration.
Inflation.
Inflation. Than for the Big Bang itself, right? This is about.
Well, one
there's a-
proves the one is.
Well, no, the microwave cosmic background radiation kind of was the smoking gun for the Big Bang, because in order for there to be a Big Bang, that had to be there.
Right.
Then they found it. This
They didn't
is,
even know they found it.
Yeah.
Those idiots.
Yeah, they thought it
their
was
radio
They
telescopes.
thought it was bird poop or something, and then they get Nobel prizes. So in that first nanosecond, the thing that is not explained by the Big Bang is the universe shouldn't be as uniform as it is, and so there was what I call gap theories, like these theories that fill in the gaps. Like if you put this gap theory in there, then all the other stuff makes sense. So you
have
said,
equations too that work with these theories that kind of show them, but those are where the gaps come in.
But
like,
this inflation,
this makes perfect sense, but what's happening here? So yeah, they throw something in there for them.
And now they found the gap. They found it as something that actually probably doesn't exist. But this happened in the first nanoseconds. It's hard to conceive changes and things like that in nanoseconds. But basically, the idea has been that in that first opening, just a couple of nanoseconds after the bang, there's this period which lasts a couple of nanoseconds of inflation where things accelerated massively, and that's how we get the uniformity, because everything just kind of goes where it is, and then later it cools down, clumps together, becomes the stars and stuff like that. So this is like the way finding the cosmic background, the microwave radiation, is like, oh wow, we said that had to be there in order for the Big Bang to be legitimate. There it is, we found it. Now we found they've found these fluctuations in the gravity from those nanoseconds that have to be there in order for this theory to be correct, and now they think they found it.
Right, and they said because it was expanding faster than the speed of light.
Yes.
Tiny ripples, I guess.
And they saw it. Like they always knew that if this is true, we should see these ripples.
Right.
And now you see the ripples.
Right.
So, I mean, that's why the Big Bang Theory, whether people believe it or not, is such a strong theory, because people start talking about, I think, the Big Bang Theory in the late 20s or early 30s, and they're automatically saying, well, we should have this cosmic background radiation. Didn't have the instruments to see it yet.
Right.
So then in the 60s, or was it the 60s? I think it was the mid-60s or something, they see it. And then you go, wow, that was a great theory, because in the 20s they were saying it should be there. Now we have the instrumentation to see it, and this is kind of like that.
Right. There's an interesting
validating a theory.
There's an interesting explanation that I thought that the center, or like what started the Big Bang, was just like a huge coffee pot. Is what they were like making a.
They always do that for people like us,
like me, who I
granola.
Yeah,
it splits in half.
It's always the bread analogy.
Yeah, the bread.
Well, the bread and the raisins in the bread. Yeah. But they said, imagine it like a central pot expanding faster than light and cooling at an even temperature as it expands. And that's like inflation.
Right.
And that the structure of the universe mirrors the froth and foam of the original pot.
Yes.
So I thought that helped me understand
and
it.
Also,
maybe it helps anybody listening.
I mean, in order for everything to work, and tell me if I'm wrong, because I probably am, the universe itself has to be expanding faster than light. Otherwise, light would catch up with it and bounce off.
I don't think it's expanding further or faster than light, because it's somewhat impossible. We're talking about inflation, that maybe there was a point that it did. The reason the light, because the theory is the light would hit the edge and bounce back, right?
And at some point you'd have just this flood of light.
I think one of the things is stars are burning out. I mean, we're talking about large expanses of time.
We're
here
talking
and
billions
space.
and billions, as Carl Sagan used to say.
So the sky's never actually been filled. It's never been completely lit with stars, because the stars are burning out and new ones are coming in. And also there's a lot of clouds. Space,
right?
There's
dust.
Clouds. Yeah,
there's things that refract
that'll block
things.
It. I don't.
But that'd be a weird thing if light actually reached the edge of the universe,
and then we're just
flooded
with it constantly.
It would be flooded back.
Why wouldn't it continue past? Why is there a point where there's an edge?
Well, theoretically there isn't, but in my mind, I would think that you would have to be expanding a little bit quicker than the speed of light in order for that to be true. And I thought that I had read somewhere that the universe does actually expand a little bit faster than the speed of light. So I don't know if that's true or not. Albanese is pretty quiet. He hasn't thought of any wordplay on this one.
Well, no, I mean, I'm listening, because there's stuff you don't want to mess with. But I remember saying yesterday, this guy, the Stanford professor, Andrea Lind.
He's good.
You don't know who the fuck he is. Shut up.
Andre Lind, he's the best.
He predicted that
the
this
best
would happen
Andre.
30 years ago, and they caught it on film.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like I was saying, like it validates a theory. Like they've been going on the inflation theory for a good long time, but there was never any. You couldn't really see that it was. It's just that if you put the inflation theory in there, the math would work. That's how these things work. They come up with. It's like the great cosmological constant that Greg Russ loves so much.
Right.
Einstein didn't know, so if he just put this constant in, right, then all the other math would work, and so you just go, well, that's probably there because it makes all the other math
Well, he
work.
believed in a static universe where
Right.
it just always existed at the same size. It's not expanding. It's not contracting. So there was a gap in some of his equations, right? So he had to create something to put in there.
Yeah.
Cosmological
And that
constant.
turned out to be what? Dark energy, right?
Yeah,
Is it dark
but
matter or dark energy?
Later on, when people realized it was an expanding universe, that fell apart, and he was embarrassed by the cosmological
Yeah,
constant.
he said it was his biggest.
Which,
It was his biggest failure.
which
He said-
actually, after he died, turned out he wasn't completely wrong.
yeah, he was
It
on the trail of truth. I bring this up because Greg not only is into science, but he also helps out theaters in New York City. Did you want to tell me something before then?
Well, the expansion of the universe. It says it is going faster than the speed of light, but it's not the way we're gonna, think about something expanding. They say the universe is expanding. They're talking about the rather abstract concept of space-time.
Yeah.
And we don't
Well,
need
no,
to get into
no,
it.
it is. The way that I put it is, people, when you think of the universe always expanding, it's not the planets aren't running away from each other. It's like your body. It's the space in between just is constantly building you out and pushing. It's like when you're 5 years old, your head's closer to your toes than when you're 20 years old. Your head's not running away from your toes. Your body is being built in between it and pushing it away. That's the universe is just constantly.
Like what you said about the baking raisin bread.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
yeah.
always
That's
they
the
always use those
expansion.
analogies.
That's
They-
the expansion of the
Right.
universe. The baking, the raisin bread. The raisins are, let's say, galaxies.
But
and-
even now, right? The fact that everything is falling away from each other, or like flying away from each other.
It's
Well, they're not.
moving
Well, they're
away.
being pushed away.
and
pushed
the,
away.
and the
That's
point
what I'm
is,
saying.
like,
the
there's
way
no
that the way that your
Right,
torso
that's what I'm
pushes
saying.
your head away from your
and they use that
toes.
to illustrate there's no center of the
Right.
universe. Like nothing's actually the center of it.
Right.
It's just all kind of moving.
But
apart
wherever
from
you
one
are
another.
we know
appears
of.
to be the center.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
There's no center because it was. Although they always show it in a cylinder. Is there a place back here?
Although my
we show
little
it like in a
sister always
cylinder.
thought she was the center of the goddamn universe growing up.
You did it. You got in here.
I got in there. I got in there.
But Greg, I was going to say that Greg
I was
loves,
so excited about
oh,
this.
he loves quantum physics and astronomy and all this stuff, and he does. What is it? What is it?
It was sound
effects.
design.
Sound design. Okay,
I mean, some
so,
of it's just pulling effects. So yeah,
Right.
it's not really design. That's
So
things you have to
they
build.
come to you and they go, look, we got the play and everything like that, but we need sounds. And Greg goes, he pulls the sounds, puts them together so that they can do however they do them off a CD or whatever they do them off of. Have this in this
CD.
No, not a CD. They put it into a computer and they hit the sounds at the right time. And he got the he was called. He was so excited. What was it called?
It was called Einstein. So like, hey, we've got a play coming up. We want you to do the sound. It's Einstein. I'm like, oh yeah, that's gonna be great.
Do we have clips of this?
No,
Believe me, it
nobody.
wouldn't have stuck to the digital stuff. It was that bad.
I think yes. Even if we did have clips, it wouldn't have translated at all.
It was 3 hours long,
Well,
right?
okay, so here's the thing. This is small theater. So there's not big funding behind it. So you have a playwright who wrote this, so he's funding everything. He really gets to call the shots, even though there's a director and a producer. The producer's there to try to tell him he's being an idiot, but ultimately he's like, it's my money, I'm going to do what I want. 4 hours. The first dress rehearsal went 4 hours. Or the first rehearsal, not dress, but full run through of the play.
Right.
4 hours. Like we have
Actors are falling asleep.
we have to cut this down. And he's like, no. So there's the big battle. This guy threw his briefcase.
Oh boy.
But eventually they got it down to 2 hours and 45 minutes. Still, the worst thing. It's just basically a terrible run through of Einstein's life, giving half-baked facts here and there, and focuses on the fact that he was a womanizer. Like this guy, apparently the playwright was really into just. He was
Yeah.
trying to get someone to take their shirt off in an Einstein play.
Oh my God, a girl?
Yeah, take it off. So this guy, and apparently the plays he's done in the past, this is the thing. He's trying to get women naked constantly.
Yeah, I got the money to do this right.
And so he focuses on that, and there's some really creepy scenes of Einstein hitting on his cousin.
Did
I
he
guess he
play
married his
Einstein?
cousin. But
He did marry his cousin. Yeah.
Did this director play
no,
Einstein as well?
No, he
No,
didn't.
this poor actor had to be
It's a
put in this
sh- it's a-
humiliating role. He was probably a decent actor, right? He had nothing to work
He
with.
would get stoned before every show.
Yeah.
If there's that
No,
the article I sent you. But anyway, so this thing goes through, and it's just god awful. And one of the things I did, and the sound design, and it's hit upon not my sound, but they could have easily if they noticed it. Time dilation. The faster you move, closer speed of light, the slower time seems,
Right.
or to an observer. So there was points like when Einstein was really working on his equations, I was like, wow, his brain's really going fast. So I countered that with like a slower ticking clock.
Right.
Which the show was so bad and went on so long,
Oh.
they could have. You would have heard a slower clicking or a ticking
right.
clock.
It'll drive you crazy.
Yeah.
You want to shoot
I
somebody.
mean, which luckily that wasn't hit upon him in this
Well, here's this
review that you're about to
So
read.
what this spawned was the greatest trashing review of anything I've ever heard in my life. And this was just fantastic. I want to kiss the guy who reviewed this thing because he was so, or it was a guy or girl, whoever. I would kiss either one because I love this review so much. But tell the one scene about the cosmological constant.
All right, so we've talked about the cosmological constant already. There's a point where Einstein realizes he was wrong. At the end of the scene, he does a thing where he puts out the palm of his hand, he takes his other hand and creates a fist and pounds his fist into his palm and says, "Damn you, cosmological constant, damn you." And then the lights go
Lights
dark.
out.
That's the end of the scene.
And then everyone stood up and left.
They had to remind people, it's not over yet. Sit back down.
Right.
So here's the...
That concludes the first 2 hours of this 17-hour dog shit play.
This is the opening of my favorite bad review. The theory of relativity, as we know, holds that time slows down as one either approaches the speed of light or watches bad theater. By traditional measure, Jay Prasad's, that was your guy, Jay Prasad?
That's the playwright.
Jay Prasad's biodrama, Einstein, is 2 hours and 40 minutes long. But every awful minute is stretched like taffy by amateurish writing, desultory acting, and sheer dramatic dead air. Let me jump to the end because I love the way he ends this thing. There are also cameos by a creepy queer J. Edgar Hoover fondling the hand of an FBI underling and an inexplicably twinkly and smiley Adolf Hitler. You can't make this stuff up.
Wow.
By which I mean you can't make up to the audience the precious time it wastes. My favorite bad review of all time.
There was a scene that was just out of place of Hoover sitting with one of his underlings because the FBI is going after Einstein, looking into him, and yeah, as he's talking about how he wants to bring Einstein down, he like reaches over and caresses the hand of his underling. It just doesn't.
Weird.
Of the agent, it makes no sense. And then the Hitler scene is before Hitler rises to power, but he's gaining prominence, and Einstein decides he needs to leave Germany. So Einstein's in a disguise,
right?
Like another fake mustache on top of the mustache that he already has. and he's like, we have to get out of this country. And so Hitler comes out, and he's being very racist about Jews, but the guy who portrayed it, that would pause and smile at the crowd. So it was a gay man playing Hitler too. So
This was
awkward.
on Broadway, or this
No,
is
no, this is off.
Off Broadway.
Yeah.
It's
off the mark. I think more is.
It's if it only created that review, it actually added to the arts.
I wish you could
as
see
far
it
as
now.
I'm concerned. Oh, I would love to have seen it. You kidding me? I would love to see Adolf Hitler smiling at the crowd. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, so back when Hitler was doing his thing and he was saying that Jews were subhuman and all this stuff, didn't anybody point out, like, theory of relativity? He'd already done most of his major work Einstein had done by 1917. So this is during World War I. Basically, most of his major work is done. Did anybody point out to Hitler, if these people are subhuman, how come this one guy who's a Jew was able to figure out everything? Because Hitler wasn't religious, so he wouldn't have had any sort of... like it's not godlike or something like that. Didn't anybody bring that up?
You have to assume someone did, or maybe they were scared to and they didn't do it.
I had heard, was he going to give Einstein a pass or something? Was there something like Hitler wasn't going to kill Einstein
I don't know
if he
about
stuck
that.
around?
I
It
don't
could
know
be
about
that he didn't think that they were stupid. Just thought they were
subhuman. I mean, how do you know?
Well, he drove away a lot of those scientists were German and they left.
Yeah.
But I thought that they took a lot of the
Some of the most
German...
talented people in Germany at the time were Jews, and we got them because they all fled.
Oh, right.
Filmmakers, scientists.
Maybe he felt like he could keep Einstein on his side or something. If like he gave him a pass, then maybe he could keep him for himself.
Killed my fellow Jews.
This is the guy who played Einstein after the radio report in the play happened of the dropping of the nuclear bomb in Hiroshima.
Well, he was sad. That makes sense that he would cry.
Crazy play.
That's the actor's old Jewish man cry. No matter if it's Einstein or the guy down the block, his wife just died. That one's going to come up every time.
The
That's the
atomic
thing
bomb.
about actors. That's the thing about actors. Michael, I don't know if you know. This is me noticing, and I could be wrong, but I think the hardest thing to do, usually actors have one way of crying. Like, doesn't matter what the role is, if they end up having to cry, they cry the same way.
Like an old sobbing woman.
Yes.
You sound like a Chinese woman laughing.
What have I done? All right, I want to get to the Kevin Trudeau story, and then we'll get to Nick Cellini, and then we'll wrap this all up.
All right,
But
Cellini's on too. So say hello
okay.
to him.
Hello, Nick Cellini. We're going to do one more story. We're right.
Cellini.
Cellini, that's what I said.
I mispronounced it. Sorry, Cellini.
Okay, Nick Cellini is on, and he's.
I didn't mispronounce it, and I also I think you guys should apologize with gifts next
all right,
time.
money. Everybody here, $10 a piece. We apologize to Nick Cellini, but I
it ain't
definitely
that
I
bad.
want to do this Kevin Trudeau story because it fascinates me.
Yeah, so Kevin Trudeau is a pitchman for
Yeah.
some weight loss stuff.
It depended over time, but he always did these commercials that it looked like it was Larry King Live or
Right.
something, but it wasn't. Like,
it always looked like
the
it might be an
background-
actual show.
Yeah.
But it was really just a
And he was on as a
infomercial.
guest. They would get some washed-up guy who actually did host something somewhere
Right.
in California.
I remember
And-
him most from the coral calcium. That's what I
Yeah.
remember him doing, was like some coral, I guess. It was a
Yeah.
supplement that was from coral, and it would make you...
And his diet things were always like, this is what the health industry doesn't want you to know.
Right.
Because it's
Right.
in there, they want you to be unhealthy. So they don't want you to know how easy it is to be healthy. And you buy his book. And he got in trouble because, so here's what happens. So he's a fraud. He's seen as a fraud. Whatever regulatory agency handles this comes down and fines him $37 million. And he never pays it.
Right.
So, and meanwhile, he's flying around on his own jets. He's got, I mean, there must be a lot of stupid ass people in this world because this guy got super rich. This is Wolf of Wall Street rich, this guy is. And so he never paid the $37 million. And I think he just got, the judge
He was
gave him
held in
10
contempt.
Right.
And so he never paid what he was...
Yeah, the $37 million he never
right,
paid.
Yeah. And
He agreed to
the
it, then never paid
judge,
to it.
the judge has a lot to say. He really does not like this guy. He says, since the age of 25, Trudeau has attempted to cheat others for personal gain. He also said he's unrepentant, untiring, and uncontrollable huckster who has defrauded the unsuspecting for 30 years. Like, this judge is pissed.
Yeah. But I mean, to a certain degree, yeah, he's right. This guy should pay the penalty. But, if you fall for this bullshit.
These people, and I don't want to get into it because I know we need to get to Cellini, but
Right.
I worked for a guy similar to this.
Yeah, I thought of that guy when I was reading this, like, wow, maybe there's jail
You should
time
see
in
the
his
people.
future.
Like, you think to yourself, this is ridiculous that people would fall for this. But they're there, and it is kind of sad because they're not really the smartest people in the
They're
world.
not smart.
They're
They're
not.
smart.
And he
You're
takes
taking
advantage
money.
of them.
I
but
mean,
they're there.
it's
and they're
P.T.
giving them money.
Barnum, but P.T. Barnum at least gave you a circus. There's no harm, right? I mean, he just, but it's that same thing. You can sell anything,
They paid $50 to come watch him speak about the solar flares that were going to destroy Earth, and he's like, the scientific fact. And this was in 2011. He's like, 2012, the world, it's done.
Right.
Solar flares coming in. We're going to lose the electrical grids. The nuclear power plants are going to shut down because the backup generators that keep them cool, they're not going to function.
Everything's
you
gonna
need to have
go.
an escape plan. Here's how you're going to do it. And then
And
once
then
you
he
were there,
sells you the
and
escape
then once
plan.
you were there too, no, then he sells you his water filters.
Right, everything you
and
need.
he has-
Right.
and people buy it.
And then, what's better than that is I guarantee you somebody spent $50 more in 2013, even though the world didn't end in 2012 or whatever.
My
he said.
calculations were off a little bit,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they're still there.
They're
That's
still
the
there.
sun goes through its cycle. And look, a solar flare that
Yes,
directed
let me give you more money.
It's the thing is, it's not wrong if a solar flare was directed exactly at Earth and hit us. It would screw up communications, satellites,
Sure.
and electrical grids. But,
Sure.
you
Well,
just-
I remember in the old days, whenever the solar flares was, I think that they've done something where this doesn't happen anymore. But when cable vision first started being something, there would be like once or twice a year where you'd be watching a show and it would go, and then it would go down the dial. You could race it, go to the
Oh,
next
really?
channel, and it would last. And it was having an effect on stuff. I don't think that happens anymore. I think they figured out a way to deal with that.
Well, it's digital
or
instead
deflect
of
it. Right. But
whatever it was.
Channel 99 was always like that, though.
Yes,
you just
always.
you bang the TV a few times, you can watch people have sex.
So let's hear this. This guy Kevin Trudeau. Would do these, and I love this too because it looked like it was Larry King Live, but not quite. Like the map behind him looked a little bit like it, but not quite.
it's paid programming still. That's what it's listed
Yeah.
as.
Right. For example, obesity, weight loss. There are natural remedies for weight loss that the drug companies and the food industry does not want you to know about. Now think about this. Let's assume that you own a food company. You sell food.
Oh, okay.
You want to sell more food.
Yeah.
Because that's how you make more money.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Right. The lobbyists in Washington right now, as we speak, are demanding that the federal government and the various organizations, independent bodies, do not promote eat less, exercise more.
By the way, stop. First of all, Michelle Obama talks about nothing else. She's been in there. Okay, never. Like, if you want to fly below the radar of the government regulatory agencies, you might not want to use calling them out on the carpet as part of your fraud, because you're going to end up on their radar, which is basically saying the government is, there's lobbyists that are keeping you.
But that's
from,
what these people have to do. That's
right.
how they
It's
push
always
their product.
it's always the people who don't want you to be healthy anymore.
It's things you can't really look into. I mean, you can look into it on your own, but most people won't.
Or you
Like,
can
what's the government really doing? I'll never know what they're doing, so I believe him because he's the eyes and ears.
Right.
Yeah.
He knows.
$10 million. 10 years now. He's going to sit his ass in jail. He's just a snake oil salesman, right?
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing. They used to come through town and sell bourbon and tell you that it was going to solve
Right.
everything. People would drink it. They didn't get liquor that much in these towns. I do feel better.
Yeah.
It's a cure-all. Yeah, so,
I don't have this
Jameson's.
pain in my ankle anymore.
Yeah, so I'm feeling better. I'm feeling more social. It's great.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I was thinking about being overweight and how when you are overweight and maybe you're sitting at 2 a.m. watching this infomercial, like you kind of want the easy out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're vulnerable.
That's why I'm
and sad
always a little
that you're
weird about
overweight.
that, because I sometimes I feel like people need. I mean, if you don't have the common sense to not send this guy money, I mean, I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, you should lose your fucking money. You know what? You're going to lose your money to somebody else. You're not good with your money. Money burns a hole in your pocket, and you're going to give it to somebody.
Well,
so why not this guy so he can fly
Sure.
around?
Well, and also I was going to say that, the reason why we're humans and awesome is that we've gotten the advantage, like we've always done what is advantageous for
Right.
us. And so if we find a
We have a
shortcut,
plan, right?
like if we can find a shortcut, and then we're going to try and take it. And maybe that's what some of these people think, like
Yeah,
instinctually.
they're dumb, but they're dumb.
But instinctually, like that's what they're doing, right? They're thinking he has the answer, and instead of having to do all of this hard work, that's expending a lot of energy and it's difficult. I'm going to do this easy
The
thing.
pulsing contraption you'd hook onto your abs.
Yeah,
so
that's
going to
make you skinny.
I bought one of those ones.
Oh, Autumn.
I was a teenager.
I know, but what did you use as a sexual device?
No, what? That was the news. If you'd like some of the stories we didn't get to, you can find us at ericfunradio.com.
And are you updating the Reddit, or is that just something that you left go to the wayside?
No, I'm going to start update. We didn't have as many.
Yeah.
We didn't really do a whole lot yesterday. I'm sorry, the day before. So I didn't put more stuff up there. So I'm going to put more up today.
We didn't do anything the day before yesterday. It was Sunday.
No, the day before yesterday was Monday.
Yeah.
Is today Wednesday?
Yes.
I mean,
What?
well, yeah.
Eric.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
The
I'm
day
sorry.
before yesterday.
Hello? Yes,
Sometimes
it
you
was.
just gotta hold his hand.
Yes, Okay, well, let's just go there, but you're doing the Reddit stuff.
Yes.
You promised me?
Yeah.
Because you fell down on that job for a little while.
I did. I was like, Psh, what's that? What's
I
Reddit?
didn't yell at you because you were pregnant. So,
Forgetful.
Nick Cellini is here. He's going to tell us what's going on in the world of sports. Nick, how are you?
I'm doing very well, and I guess based on what I just heard, people are lazy and people are stupid. There's only one way to lose weight. You have to eat right and you have to exercise. There are
Fuck you.
no shortcuts. You're right. A lot of people are that stupid, and if you're that stupid to send somebody money that is sitting on a mock CNN set,
Yeah.
all that's missing are the Larry King suspenders, then you know what? You deserve to lose your money. You're absolutely right.
You know what? I tend to agree with that. There's a part of me that's like, well, if they're really young or they're really old, protect them, because the old get feeble of the mind and they can be taken advantage of. But if it's a 45-year-old dude who's got, he deserves to be parted from that money, as
Hey,
far
man,
as I'm concerned.
It's thinning of the herd, man.
Yeah, it's like they do this. They do this thing where they free fans for old people in the summertime.
Right.
If you make it to 80, the idea that you ought to drop $15 on a fucking fan should have occurred to you. It gets warm every summer.
Right.
But anyways, let's talk sports, Nick.
All right, well, more bad news for the Georgia Bulldogs. Spring practice is underway, and 4 players arrested on Monday evening, theft by deception, and really one of the more stupid crimes of our time. What they were doing is the players get a regularly scheduled stipend, about $71 that they get. They get a check from the athletic department if they're on scholarship, cost of living, you want to go buy a pizza, what have you. What these players were doing, they were depositing the check via the mobile app on their cell phone, and then they would go down to the local Piggly Wiggly or Kroger, whatever it is their app is, and they would cash the check again. They were double dipping.
Hell yeah.
And needless to say, they got caught by the athletic department. You see, everything is now on file, everything's computerized. You really can't do those things.
Yeah, I mean, it should have
Sooner or
occurred to
later,
them.
You're going to get caught.
It should have occurred to them that they get caught. And why? Now that could get us to another discussion about paying these kids. But either whether that's true or not, they knew what they were doing is wrong. Why is there so much criminality and it's not just Georgia. It's just that we hear about Georgia a lot more than Tech. But what is with these kids? I mean, are any of them good? Are they all just criminals waiting to happen?
Can I just state that I don't think this problem, I think, is the source of this issue is. Can somebody put a fucking computer inside the Piggly Wiggly? Are they just looking at the check going, looks good to me, dude. Come on, here's the money. You want extra?
Right.
Like what, they can't run the check?
Well, probably that's what happened eventually because they got caught, right?
No,
so
that's
for
Piggly
them,
Wiggly's fault. I'm blaming
and
them.
it's also, man, just brilliant. So for an extra $70, you just tanked your college career possibly, and maybe not even be seen by an NFL scout who could have seen you.
That's check fraud, man. That should have.
You can say they're kids and everything, but I don't think it happened as much in the 50s and 60s as now. Am I wrong, Nick?
Well, if it did happen in the 50s and 60s, more often than not, you had the local police department. They would sweep it under the carpet because nowadays, with
boys will be
everything being
boys.
on computers, you can't really sweep that or delete that file. Somebody's going to find out. Also, in the day and age of Twitter and social media,
TMZ,
and everything else, any little thing happens, somebody's going to take the ball and run with it.
Right. So these guys are suspended for the whole year or anything, or we don't know yet?
We don't know yet. It's up to the head coach, Mark Richt, what he wants to do with these guys. Now, it's under $500, so it's a misdemeanor, but it should be a felony in the world of stupidity. How did these kids think they weren't going to get caught?
Because they're dumb.
How stupid must you be?
They're dumb.
Or they
and
knew
I
it
was
wasn't
dumb
going to be
too.
a felony. It's like,
Right.
fuck it. We'll
Yeah,
take
but I
3
mean,
games
you could lose your gig. You could lose your starting. I don't even know whatever they were doing. I mean, it's just crazy to me. It just seems like these football teams just sort of pillage over these campuses. It's just absolutely absurd. What Mark Richt and people like that. Mark Richt is a good guy. Don't get me wrong. There's no doubt that he's a good guy. He's
a Christian.
He's a Christian. He's whatever. What he needs to do is he needs to take a star player and say, you're off this team forever. You know what? Go to Auburn and beat me next year because that's how much I care about this. I don't want people like you on my team, and I don't care if people like you beat my team. And if you do that enough, you'll have a few losing seasons, and if you hold on to your job long enough, you are going to, over time, recruit people who want to be with a guy like that. I don't understand why. I mean, I think even in the SEC, there should be a coach who says, if you dabble in criminality, we don't want you. I don't care if you give me 50 fucking points a game. I don't care. The people on this team are good people first and good players second. And I know that would hurt for a while, but I believe over a 10-year period, you'd have a great team because parents would start pushing their kids toward you because they want you to be in their life.
Well, the problem is you're not going to be there for 10 years. These coaches are making $3+ million. There's pressure. Everybody wants to be Nick Saban. Everybody wants to beat Nick Saban. And because of that, you're recruiting some of these kids. Now, a couple of these kids came from well-to-do families. This is just a bunch of kids get together, and like you said, 18, 19-year-old kids are stupid, and they thought they could get one over on the university, and it didn't work out, and most likely they're going to be thrown out of school now.
Right. And then you give people time. I mean, Cam Newton is an upstanding citizen. He's a great role model, but I mean, didn't he steal laptop computers or something when he was in Florida or something like that? So, some of it is youth. Some of it is youth. It just seems to be a lot of it lately in especially the SEC.
Yeah, he got kicked out of Florida, and the rest, as they say, is history as he did what he did at Auburn. Now, speaking of Florida, we know that they play Georgia every Halloween weekend, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, and they were actually thinking about serving cocktails, beers, what have you, during the game. Now, in Jacksonville at the Gator Bowl, they do, during the actual Gator Bowl itself, serve cocktails. The Jacksonville Jaguars play down there. They serve, needless to say, an NFL game, beer during those games. They were thinking about doing it for the Georgia-Florida game, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. A couple of universities have started selling beer at games. West Virginia, not a surprise, among them. And they say actually the alcohol-related incidents before and after the game have gone down. It's a moneymaker. They're going to make a ton of money. I guess West Virginia made about $500,000 in beer sales alone, but it's not going to happen.
Right. Well, the reason that it goes down, it does make sense, is because when you're tailgating and you know that there's no liquor or beer once the game starts, you got to smash it all down. And then they're completely tanked in the first quarter, and trouble happens anyways. Whereas you could moderately drink.
Beer,
I like the idea. I think that it could be excessive. I think the policies with most pro stadiums where Like for the Braves, I think they stop in like the 7th inning. And I think at the Bills, after the second quarter, you can't buy beer anymore. I mean,
Well, they don't have anyone to sell beer to. That's the problem.
They have people like me, a lot of losers who still show up. Last Bills game I went to was packed, sir. Always at the beginning of the year. Bills fans are believers. If you go to the first 4 or 5 games, they're going to be packed. And then you get toward and we're not going to go to the playoffs again. Then it gets ugly. So we're running late here, Dick. I'm sorry about that. Give me one more story.
I'll give you one more story. Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts.
We already did this. We did the story on yesterday's show. We did the show on. We already did this story on yesterday's show because we're doing. So, is there anything else?
Well, let's talk about Chris Medlin. He's going to get the picture of the Braves. Tommy John going to go undergo Tommy John surgery today. It looks like the second pitcher, Brandon Beachy, he's also going to need Tommy John surgery. So 2 great starters, both going to have their second Tommy John surgeries. I'm no physician. I am no baseball expert, but I know that's bad news for the Braves.
Yeah, they're going to have. I'm feeling it. Greg, you're a great Braves fan.
No, not anymore.
But
aren't
you feeling this? This is going to be a bad one.
I think. Well, it's the second on both. Beachy came back and pitched 1 game, Nick?
Yeah.
2 games?
Yeah.
He pitched a handful of games last year. Matter of fact, it was only 21 months ago that he had his first Tommy John surgery. Medlin was pitched the past couple of years after he had his surgery. I guess if you're a starting pitcher, the odds of coming back from a second Tommy John are less than 20%. So these guys may be coming out of the bullpen when all is said and done.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have a bad feeling about the Braves this year. I think Gonzalez is going to be on the hot seat by the middle. I think that we all thought that Freddie was going to be there forever and he was going to be Bobby Cox. I think it's going to be ugly this year. I don't know. I'm not wishing for that. I want to have a great year. I want to follow them all the way down to the end. But I just got a weird feeling this one's going to be a bad year.
Hey, Ugla had a good game yesterday.
Oh wow! Well, hey,
a triple and a home run. I'm a believer again.
All right, Nick Cellini. What if people want to follow you on the Twit forums and the face places?
Well, the face place is just Nick Cellini, and the Twit form is at Cellini Nick. You spell the last name Cellini, and Nick Nick. So, thank you, gentlemen and lady. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Cellini. Wow.
Yeah, it's bad.
Bye, buddy.
Tommy John surgery.
What is? Am
For
I
two
the
of
only
them,
one
Medlin the other
Medlin
one?
and the other one. It takes Tommy John surgery is
they're out for the season.
You're basically it takes a year and a half.
Take a ligament from where?
From somewhere that's when they put it in your elbow, right?
Yeah.
Is it from like a cadaver?
No, another part of your body.
I take it from your body. MLB is out taking ligaments from cadavers.
Well, maybe. I mean, a lot of surgeries are like that.
So it's a really tough one. And Leo Mazzoni, who I used to work with, and his style is not in these days. He was the pitching coach for the Braves during all those great years. And his style of working pitchers all the time is not in. You remember that the big pitcher with the Nationals? They said, well, he's only going to pitch so many games, and we don't care. And they're resting their starting pitchers more. And Leo Mazzoni believes that the reason more people are getting that hurt and needing Tommy Johns is because they're too cold too often once they start pitching. And the Leo Mazzoni, you're going to burn these guys out. And his point is your body is better off with muscle memory to be doing something at full speed rather than pulling back and trying to whatever. And then you're cold. So I don't know if he's right or he's wrong, but it is true that an awful lot more pitchers are dealing with this. And yeah, it's like a year and a half if you're lucky that you can come back from these sort of things. And these are 2-star. I mean, Chris Medlin, he is the shutdown pitcher of the league, isn't he?
Well, when he came back from the first Tommy
I'm
John
sorry.
surgery.
No. I'm
Minor.
Chris Medlin, I know because he's my friend. He's a great guy. He's a starting pitcher. I was thinking of somebody else. Who's
Minor?
No. I was thinking of one of their bullpen guys.
Oh, one of the bullpen guys.
Who's the shutdown guy from the bullpen?
John Rocker?
No.
Yep, he's back.
One of the best in the league.
He's back.
Our the guy.
Kimbrel?
Yeah, I was thinking of Craig Kimbrel for some reason.
Yeah, of course, Crimbo.
He's fine. He's fine.
Would you call him Creambo?
Yeah, Crim.
No, Chris Medlin, he's a great guy, and that's right. I'd forgotten. When I first met him, he was coming back from some kind of surgery.
He was great.
And he was great.
And the last year was there.
He's a great guy, though. I'm rooting for him. He's a really, really good dude.
But Beachy, suck it.
Never met him.
Eric's not.
Never met him. I don't know. I'm sure he's a great guy.
I hear he's so beachy in the morning.
But Medlin, man, he's a guy who'll stop his car. If you're stuck on the side of the road, you're trying to change your tire. He's the type of guy who will. I'm going to stop talking because it's sports, and Autumn doesn't care, so she's creating.
I'll tell you what. If you're a Braves player now, a Cobb Braves player,
Cobb Braves. The
and-
Cobb
Cobb
Braves.
Braves.
and you're stuck in some ice, Chipper Jones will come save you. Only, I know it's his old story, but you said Medlin would stop
What'll
for anyone.
chip away at them?
Now Chipper Jones only picks up his brethren. Screw
Yeah.
you if you're just a
Yeah, if you were out
if
there,
Autumn,
that-
if Autumn were stuck, Chipper Jones would come by on his 4-wheeler, see her pregnant, and laugh.
You're not on the
I'm going to
Braves.
get Freeman.
I'm going to get Freddie Freeman because he's my compatriot.
He's my buddy.
So there we go. We're coming to the end of this one. Well, Chris Medlin, I wish him the best of luck. I can't tell you what a cool guy he is. He's a really, really good dude. Autumn Fisher,
Yes.
you do other things besides this. How can people follow you?
You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and
Just say all your social
everywhere.
platforms.
Autopritz. P-R-I-T-T-S. Yeah.
Michael Albanese does a little showbiz on the side here. Where are you going to be?
At Big Man Mike, follow me. I make very funny puns. No, I don't.
You're good with the wordplay.
Yeah, I'll be, the Aurora this weekend.
The Aurora.
I kind of can't wait for this weekend to come and go so I can stop plugging it.
That's all right.
But I'm very
man.
excited for
Don't
the
be
show.
afraid to
so
plug
please
stuff.
come out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. Aurora Theater. Go to inmyownhead.com.
Where
click
is
on
the
live
Aurora
shows.
Theater?
Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Oh, that's
Gwinnett
a hot
County.
spot. That's where Larry
Yeah.
Flint was shot.
There's a great Mexican restaurant right around the corner. I'm probably going to be spending most of my time at.
Can I see that
while I'm
courtroom? Is
there.
it near that courthouse?
Yeah,
where,
it's right
where
actually,
Larry
it's
Flint got shot?
Right next door to it. It's in the
Awesome.
shadow of it.
Awesome.
I think the building is gone where he stood from to
Oh.
shoot him. The book
That's-
No, I
depository.
don't know. Yeah, wrong.
I love the
wrong-
fact-
wrong president.
I love the fact. I love the fact in the South, he didn't shoot him because of the pornography. He shot him because there was a black and white couple in one of the
Yeah.
things. I love the South. Greg Russ, you don't appear anywhere or do anything, but we appreciate.
But you wanted me to start the Twitter back up. I haven't done it yet. But when I do, it's there. You can still follow me.
What's it called?
At I Like Pretzels, even though I only tweet about sandwiches. That was an oversight.
Are you keeping these? Are you keeping the theme alive?
You have to.
Is it going to be
No,
just?
it's always going to be sandwiches.
All right. There's a lot to be said about sandwiches that people aren't saying. You're just the man for the job.
There's a lot of great history with the sandwich. A lot of things to learn.
Wasn't it the Earl of Sandwich who that came from?
Yes, it is.
And did he make sandwiches, or was it just in his district that sandwiches were?
I think he ordered people to make sandwiches for him.
Yeah.
Glutton.
Like, so,
Put the meat in the bread.
was there no sandwich before the Earl of Sandwich? Nobody ever
You
thought.
have to
put
assume there was.
Oh my
just came
God,
to
we can put
prominence.
this together and it'll hold it. My goodness, slap a little mayonnaise on there. My.
I'm looking at
It's a whole new
Greg's
world.
old posts on Twitter.
What's the
Looking
one? Give me
pretty
one
good.
sandwich. Give me one sandwich that he.
There's no caption. He just has a picture
pictures of Sammy's.
of a sandwich and chips.
But there's no. You can't read the tweets. That it shouldn't be private.
Oh, no.
There it is, Greg Russ.
My triumphant return. Anyone care for a sandwich? I know I.
That was one like I
Pretty sure
hadn't
he
tweeted
was
in
one.
2 years, and it's like my triumphant return.
And then you didn't do anything.
No. The first ones are the better ones.
Oh, yeah.
Don't read them.
I am making a sandwich with white bread and turkey and lettuce and mustard. Spicy, not yellow.
You are a weird.
There's good.
You
There
know
are
that?
good
You are
historical facts in there.
strange.
You can. Why don't you find like Sandwich, Massachusetts? That's a good one.
Huh? Yeah. Now go to the greatest hits. Greg's greatest Twitter hits.
Town of Sandwich, Massachusetts, the oldest town on Cape Cod, not known for any sort of special sandwich. Disappointing. Compelling.
See? That's some
Riveting.
good shit.
All right. This has been the morning show with EVH. We'll see you tomorrow morning.